So today I have a guest she's just got this amazing, sparkly, sprite-like, and she's Irish. I think there's a fairy constellation around her as well. But she's just fabulous. I think you guys are going to love our conversation today. So I want to welcome Patricia Lohan. Patricia, thanks for joining me.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Yeah, I am too. And so everybody knows Patricia also has a podcast, and it's called Live Your Dreams Awake. And I was on her show, and she's got interesting and fabulous guests on her show too. So cross-pollinate, everybody. Just do the cross-pollination thing. But the thing about you, Patricia, that I was very tickled with, and I went on your website, patricialohan.com, and did some of your quizzes because you are a Feng Shui expert. Wait, you said Feng Shui expert and manifesting magnet.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. And first, for people that don't even know what Feng Shui is, if you could explain that, and then I want to hear how you got into doing this.
Yeah, for sure. So, hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here, Susan. Feng Shui, I just love the way you started with about the fairy energy, because there's a lot of fairies around me always, and I love that energy. And I think that, to be honest, that's what guided me more into this world of magic and Feng Shui. And for me, people might think Feng Shui, oh, it's like moving furniture, painting your walls, doing some decorating. And being on this show, I'm going to demystify it, because Feng Shui is acupuncture for your home. It is all
I love that. Wait, I love that, because I'm big about acupuncture for my body, but to do this for my home, that's exciting. Okay, go on.
So Feng Shui is acupuncture for your home, and I consider it as basically a practice that is going to bring your home into energetic balance and alignment. It has nothing, or probably 1% to do about your furniture, and 99% to do about energy and vibration. And it is like, for me, when we're working with clients, it's like acupuncture for your home it's putting the needles in to balance the energy. But to do the analysis, it's like we do an astrology reading for your home based on the year it's built. So this is just very traditional form Feng Shui. There's many different kind of cookie cutter approaches and DIY and try and do these things. And that's why a lot of people are like, I tried Feng Shui, nothing happened, or this tiny thing happened. And it's because it's not being done to its fullest essence and to the fullest way of being able to actually totally bring your home into balance. And if we think about what we're doing with Feng Shui, it's acupuncture for your home. We're working with the 5 elements. We're bringing them to balance and harmony, just like that yin and yang balance, this playing of both of those. And when we really look at that, and what I like to explain to some clients is like, imagine if you're sitting out in your most favorite place in nature, in a magical power center in nature, and how you feel so connected to the universal flow of life, to everything moving just in divine timing. That's what we turn your home on. That's what we do to your home. We make your home this space that is like basically cosmically aligned with divine nature and flow. When your house is, balanced, you become balanced. Everything starts to flow. Money, opportunities, love, like abundance, ease. It just comes into like that sense of like how God had divine wants spirit to flow. And that's what we're doing to the house. We're making sure that physical environment that you're sitting in 24 hours a day, nearly 23 hours a day, because we're all sitting at home working from home, is like we're tapped into a higher source.
Okay, so this is so fascinating to me, because I have had, the people come and we move some furniture, I hang a mirror here or read something there, and I got nothing. It does, and you know me now, Patricia, I'm an energy person. If I can't feel the energy, then it's just a flat line. So it's fascinating to me that you've explained it this way, like doing an astrology reading for your house, because in my experience, the person that does the Feng Shui has to come to the house feel the energy of the house, and you work non-locally.
Mm-hmm. We work totally virtually because we can do everything from Google Earth and Google Maps. When we work with clients, that we have a detailed set of software that everyone sends all their information to, and we can do the analysis virtual, because basically, it's just like we need the year that the house is built. We need to know where it's positioned and located in the world. We can do all of our analysis then and create the report and go, well, the reason you haven't met your soulmate, or the reason you're having this trouble in your business or your career, or the reason this is happening is because of this, and this is how you fix it. And this is how you, and it's not even fixing it. It's like, this is how you bring that back into balance. How you balance and harmonize this part of your life. And that's why I don't need to see someone's house. And they're always like, what, you don't need to see my, you need to walk around and tune into it. And that is probably maybe what Feng Shui masters did years ago, when they were like standing with their gowns 5,000 years ago, tuning in, and the wave of the wind, they would tune in. But now there's amazing like mathematical, computations that have been made for us to be able to do the analysis for any house all over the world, and then to be able to define what's going on and then how to balance it. Mm-hmm. And every house is unique. And this is something that's really important that people aren't made aware of, because it was like, let's bring this Feng Shui thing from the East to the West and make a little kind of DIY kind of version that's a bit like fast food, like let's, a lovely organic meal versus McDonald's. Let's just like kind of like chop it up and make it really like not as powerful as it possibly can be. And that works for some people. There's some things that you could do that could accidentally like, oh my God, that worked. And that's where it's like hit and miss. Whereas with our practice and in my journey, what I've seen, and I just started Feng Shui out of my own personal interest. It was not like, oh, I woke up and I'm like, I'm going to be a Feng Shui expert. This is what I'm doing with my life. I had no idea. I got into Feng Shui when I was 15, when we moved house a lot of times. Like we moved house 22 times. There was one house we moved into that literally our family had been a pretty happy family. Things were flowing okay. Their business was getting better. We moved into this house that was supposed to be better. That was like an upgrade. It was like the big step up in our world. And I'm not joking you, it was a total mess. The whole family dynamic fell apart. My mom got really sick. There was so much drama, so much legal suits. It was like, what just happened? Like the only thing that happened, like we didn't change as people, we just changed our environment. And what I could see was actually the houses along the road. And this only came to me one day. I was like driving by going like, that house. And I walked by and I was just like, and I went, oh, the people next door and the people next door. It was one of three. It was end of terrace. And all of them had serious sickness going on in their houses and so much drama. It was just a total. Now, on the flip side, living there and for all the neighbors, money was not a problem. There was more money than you could shake a stick at. We just couldn't, money wouldn't solve psychological problems. Money wasn't going to solve like the masses of legal stuff coming in going like, what the hell? Like, so that was a huge thing for me. And I don't know, like simultaneously, our soul knows better than we do. Simultaneously, I got to ask for books about Feng Shui. That same house we were living in. And I had no idea. I'd never heard of it. Didn't know how I heard of this practice. Like, what the hell? Like, and my parents are not into any of this esoteric stuff at all. So it was just like this kind of, I want to know about Feng Shui. And then fast forward like 15 years later, I'm like, I want to Feng Shui this new apartment for love. And I found those books. When the students are ready, the teachers appear. So many Feng Shui masters arrived in Ireland within like weeks of each other. And I was like, what is going on? I was just like, okay, great. I started setting it up and I met my husband very soon after. And that's how this all happened. Because everyone was like, how did you meet Ken? And I was like, well, I met him. Like, I did this Feng Shui thing. And it really just spiraled from that. I know this is a long answer answering the question.
Oh, no, I love it because because you're speaking to the energy that affects individuals wherever they are. And it cannot just be in your home, which is your primary. It can be in your office. Mm-hmm. and it affects the dynamics of those around you. And so, if you've got a booger of a neighbor or a boss, it might be because the energy systems are not in a place of aligning you to do and be your best.
Exactly. And, this is where I feel like, you said like Patricia, like the manifesting magnet. And it's like the amount of things that have unfolded so easily for me in this journey. And it was for me, it popped in being like, oh man, like when I really had that at that stage of like in my early 30s, I had quit everything. I'd moved to India. I'd become a yoga teacher. I'd spent a year in India. I'd had spiritual awakenings, downloads. I'd cleared so much emotional baggage. And I was just like on my path. And what I realized from that space was that doing all the inner work is a part and parcel of the journey. It's not like, oh, Feng Shui's might get out of free jail, out of free pod like card. It's not. But what it does is make sure that your foundations are set. Because if your house is not balanced, it's like we can do all this work to raise our energy. Like I'll do some meditation, I'll go for Reiki, I'll do healing, I'll do some whatever, breath work, whatever it is, raise our own energy. But our house is this really physically dense manifestation that doesn't change unless we make it change. And the thing is, and the misconception is, oh, if I repaint it or get some new furniture or I'll, space clear it, like they're all going to have like minor shifts in making you feel better in it. But I've done thousands of houses and we've done so many beautiful interior designed houses. I remember seeing this house in Washington. Oh my God, the stunning home. Like it was amazing. And, the kids are fighting all the time, like 100% of the time. The couple were on the verge of divorce. Like it was a nightmare personally. And I was like, oh, so it doesn't, like, aesthetically, it was a beautiful home. Financially, things were good, but all on the personal side, it was really traumatic and lots of stuff happening. And they just got robbed by their housekeeper, like loads of stuff. And I was like, okay, well, this is because your house is bad for people. Like it's not supportive. We can balance it. And when we did, she's like from 100% fighting with the kids to 10%. Like wow. To normal, to like, oh, this is how they bicker, not this constant. And, the family area was just really, really unhappy that particular year. And then it can just like build on, as we move through the cycles. So, it's an amazing practice, all about the energy.
So Patricia, I have a question, because I'm a big, being empathic and a healer myself, I often get energy, I call them drive-bys, where people unconsciously dump their garbage on me and I'm just walking by, I didn't ask for it. And I get home and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this doesn't, what's going on? And so can people bring their energy, other people's energy or not good energy into the house as well? I mean, maybe the house is pretty solid, but then it accumulates like your pipes, the gunk of just
they definitely can bring some in, but it's not going to be as fundamental as the foundational energies of the house. And they're kind of set in stone. Like there's houses that have like an energetic setup that will be like, okay, well, a happy couple may move in here, but it could be very difficult for the relationship because I'm looking at what's happening energetically. And that's going to be there whoever moves in. It's just going to depend on what's happening on them on a personal level of how it's going to actually manifest out. So for example, I could look at a house and be like, this has definitely got the energetics of a divorce, but it may be a great couple, but then the husband might get a new job that's way out of town and they may never see each other. Like it could be like, it can manifest differently for different people. Mm-hmm. Depending on them, on the people and bringing things in. You can totally have a little bit of that, but that would be cleared with a space clearing. It wouldn't actually really impact the fundamental energy.
Okay, so that's interesting. Being a person who went through a nasty divorce, I'm not living in that house anymore.
Thank God.
But right. So that's interesting that the foundation of a home can set you up for certain experiences if you're not aware of it. Now, how do you clear that particular one?
Well, that's actually bespoke to the house. So it actually depends on the house. It's not like it would work, it would be a variation of whatever elements, like literally what needles would need to go in depending on the house. So that's kind of, yeah, that's when we would be, I mean, it's kind of specific, but we would work on one of the 5 elements. So it could be we need to add some fire in here. So we need to, you know, in the bedroom, we might need to add some red cushions, or in the kitchen, we need to add some, you know, something, a plant, or, you know, there'd be specific 5 elements that we would locate into each space.
Okay. So explain to everybody what the 5 elements are, just in case people don't know.
Yes. So in Chinese medicine and, you know, acupuncture and Feng Shui, it is based on the 5 element theory. And if you look to nature, basically what I said is like bringing nature into your house. And if you look to nature, you'll see those 5 elements everywhere. So fire, water, metal, earth, and wood. So trees, rivers, lakes, earth, stones, the actual physical earth. The metal is the iron ore that comes from the earth, and then fire is created from, you know, the sun and the wood. So they're the 5 elements, and essentially what we look at is how they interact and interweave between each other, and what the, you know, Feng Shui philosophers and astronomers and astrologers and physicists, I don't know, they were amazing Feng Shui gurus, discovered was that in homes, the dynamic of those can be very positive in some areas and negative in others. And what we want to do is either neutralize or activate for the positive. So, you know, for example, we've had clients who have come to us when they, you know, I have a lady in Florida. I'm just thinking of her because she's an amazing Amazon business and had decided to move to Florida for the sunshine, and move to their beach home. And the beach house had been all decorated in water element, like water, so lots of water pictures everywhere. And when they moved into that house, the contract, the supplier of their product for Amazon, which was a 7-figure business, decided to stop supplying them.
Ooh.
And she just came to me and she's like, OMG, like, we've just basically lost our business like that. And it happened within days of moving into this house. And she's like, help. And I was like, okay, let's see. So overall, the energy of their house was good, except when I went to start to do the walkthrough of their house with her. And I was like, okay, so there's water element everywhere. Water is cooling, it is dampening, it is slowing. And if it's in the wrong space, it's actually basically like undermining everything and causing so much havoc. So the first thing I was like, we need to get, and she didn't need any water element in her house. Like, you know, and it's okay to have the occasional picture of a water, like that's okay. But this was excessive. And, you know, since then, it like things have like obviously shifted incredibly for her. She had another business that has completely skyrocketed. The last message I got, she's like, we just had a 400K month. I was like, oh, great. You know, from like literally going, I think we're going to lose everything. We've just lost our business, to, you know, totally transforming it. So it's to do with the elements essentially.
Yeah, I just did it for my own inner work, a 5-week series with working with the elements, but it was earth, wind, fire, water, and ether. And that within myself just changed so much. I learned so much about me by focusing on those things and calling them in and actively, consciously participating with them. So I can imagine that these 5 elements would totally shift the energy of a house. Now, let me ask you this, because it's specific to a home, right? I'm just thinking. So what about the people that tend to have way too much stuff, like way too much stuff in their closet? I'm not saying a hoarder, but oh my. Yeah, I know. How do you shift that besides emptying the closet?
Yeah. So what I would say to you with this is that like one of the aspects of Feng Shui is about like making sure that energy can move, you know, so we just want flow and ease. And if there's a lot of excess stuff, especially like, I'm not concerned, and this is like definitely probably contentious for some people, I'm not concerned about like the clothes that yesterday on the bed from yesterday, or the dishes on the table, or that kind of thing. I'm not concerned with the stuff that's associated with life, or, you know, the child's like playroom that is full of toys and all over the floor. Like, that's life. What bothers me most is like the wardrobe that has not been touched for 6 months and nothing has been worn. That's creating stagnant energy. So just think about a little pool of water that is being left stagnant. It goes stinky, it goes smelly, it's not nice, it's kind of gross. Like, that's what you're creating in these areas in your house, where there's stuff just blocked up and there's no movement and flow. And when we think about like feng shui, every part of your home represents a different part of your life. And with that, every area, like it's just, you know, without me analyzing your whole house, I have to tell you where every area is. But in general, if you just decide there's one cupboard that you just like, oh, I hate that cupboard, and you kind of close the door quickly, go sort that one out, because guaranteed it's somewhere that you're blocked in your life. And what I've seen, what I've actually witnessed in my own house is in our house in Ireland, under the stairs and where our laundry is, it's our spirituality area. And no word of lie, every time it gets a bit like clogged up and a bit kind of full of, you know, the laundry and things moving and stuff in thrown, you know, loads of coats and stuff, it's like I haven't been doing my practices.
Right.
So it's like our house starts to mirror us and starts to talk to us. And, you know, so if you have areas of your home that have a lot of stuff and a lot of things just sitting there, you're just allowing yourself to come into the house to come into this space of like stagnancy, where and then you're like, why do I feel stuck? Why do I feel sluggish? Why have I got weight on me? Why, so it's because your house is mirroring you. So if you decided like, right, I'm just going to move around your house, and this is a really cute little tip that people can do. And one of the 9 is a really good, it's a great feng shui number. Chinese love numbers. So 9 is a great number. So the 27, 2 and the 7, 9. And the 27, one of the recommendations is to like move around, to go around your house. And they say move 27 things. I would like to add remove 27 things. So just like imagine you're walking around your house and just like, okay, do I want this? Do I love this? Is it broken? Is it working? Take it out. And you will start to feel a shift. Like, even just moving the 27 things, you'll feel like, wow. And the thing is, as you decide, say, just keep that number for fun. It's like, oh, 27, whatever, like a fun number, move around and kind of like move something. Oh, do I like that? Why is that there? You know, okay, I'm going to get rid of that one actually, and move a little. And then you'll start to feel, oh God, things feel like it's just this subtle thing, because the stagnancy, and especially in those spaces that haven't been touched for a while. And, you know, people get nervous with me about like, oh my God, I have to declutter everything before I do feng shui, Patricia. And I often believe, and have seen this time and time again with clients, is that if their house is full of clutter, especially in certain areas that become like the place that gets clogged, the energy is not happy. So it's really low vibrational. So of course it's going to attract more crap and junk. And I'm like, let's reverse the picture. Let's balance it with the remedies, like whatever element needs to go in. And then it's like, oh, okay, actually, and I find it so fascinating in my group with my ladies. They're like, I just love the decluttering now. And these are people who were like, it's like, it's some way it enables it. It kind of frees up the chi to let it go.
Right. So I've done the Marie Kondo thing like a ton of times. And whenever I buy something new, I walk in my closet. I'm like, all right, what has to go? What? You know, and I'll pull, I just did this like 2 weeks ago. I pulled everything out. I ended up trying a lot of stuff on, going, oh no, this doesn't fit anymore. Oh no, it's not my color anymore. Oh, you know, my spouse, who I just love and adore, his office where he's been working for a year and a half right now, it's so stuck. I cannot even walk in there. I can't walk in there. And, you know, with computers and wires, and then he's got his easel set up, and he's got canvases that are half started. And then because he's highly creative, and he's got his leather work, but nothing, if he creates, it doesn't go anywhere. Right. And he's just brought old energy that's in there now from his past. And then he's been, see, my shoulders are like, wah! So, and every time I want to encourage him, he just gets, he shuts down. No, I'm not moving a thing. And it's interesting as you're speaking, Patricia, because when clients come to me and they're stuck in their job or their work and they want me to help them, it's like, well, I often tell them, instead of focusing on where you feel stuck right now, why don't you focus on something that you can move, like clean out a desk drawer if you're stuck in your job, or your closet if you feel like you don't have anything, clean it out. Because what I know to be so is that the universe abhors a vacuum. So if you create a vacuum, if you create empty space, the universe will bring to you what you want, as opposed to constantly giving you what you don't want, because that's all you've got in your space, right?
Totally. Yeah.
So people that want to use Feng Shui to shift their energy system and the foundation of their home, do both people have to be in agreement that that's what you're going to do?
You know what? That's so funny, because most of the time the partners are completely resistant to the 90% of the people who do the Feng Shui, their husbands are like, or partners are just like, what the hell? But what is so fascinating, and I just always say to my clients, I'm like, you have to be the change you want to see in the world. And you do your thing. If this feels like the right thing for you, you do it. And then they see the rewards. Like, I have so many examples of clients whose husbands have got a promotion, a pay rise, the dream job, because actually it's so funny, because the women join and they're like attached to the results. The men have no attachment and they see them like this. It's like 1, 2, 3. So it's such a funny thing. And then they come on board. Then they're kind of go, oh, this Feng Shui thing, keep doing what you're doing. So it's always kind of funny to see how this flows. And especially when it comes to things like that with the space, like literally only today, one of our clients who's been, I don't know, she's in a program for maybe a couple of years now. And she just was in reminding everyone, saying like, my husband's office was in a mess. So I helped him clear it out a bit. And he came home from work and was just like, oh my God, I just got like 10 contracts sent out today. Like, I was so productive and everything. And like, she tapped in to remind everyone, she's like, even though you have your remedies in, there's always something else you can focus on. So it's always the ripple. And this is also for me, one of my favorite parts of the Feng Shui, is that it's not just the person who signs up that gets the benefits. It's like the children, the partners, the people who come to stay and sleep. Like, it's this whole like little ripple effect that it causes, like when you create a beautiful sacred environment for people. It really does amp up things for everybody. And it's lovely. I know you're in the US, like a lot of my clients, like they are on, their children are like trying to get into the right universities. And there's a whole like rush on which one, and the dream one. And, then they're like, my son got all his top 3. We didn't even think he would have even got it, so and they would have done this, like some of the things to get the activated, like the education area, so they're like doing the work for everyone. And it's like that little magic ripple.
Wow. I can think of a bazillion people that I would recommend this to, myself included. Oh my goodness. So how do people get involved with your system? How do we do that?
Yeah, so you can come to patricialohan.com, and I have a free masterclass which gives you all the details of like how to join my program. I have a program called Powerhouse, because we want to turn your house into a powerhouse, and that is an opportunity. We do the analysis and give you your personal report for your house, and then I also work with some people one-to-one, just a few people one-to-one, but there's opportunities for like me to see everything all the way through as well, through the program. So that's how people typically work with me, through the Powerhouse program. But I do have loads of, resources on my YouTube channel, on Instagram, on my podcast, just giving some steps of getting started with Feng Shui. Because you can't be listening going like, this is a bit edgy now for me. It's a bit unknown, but, and I'm like, just give it a little chance. And, it's interesting because when I was just saying, like at the beginning, Ken and I first decided to do the Feng Shui, I'd manifested Ken. I moved into the house with Ken, into the house that he had built. And I had said, I'm going to do this Feng Shui thing. Like I had my own business working with people one-to-one. I ran sound baths. I did healings. I wasn't looking for a new career. And Ken said, I'm going to give it a go too, because we just moved in together and we're like, let's do it. So we came back from doing that, and I had written a check to the universe, good old manifesting thing, and put it in a little cupboard in our prosperity area after we put our Feng Shui remedies in, like what I tell all my clients to do. And we did all the Feng Shui and everything that I would say to my clients, we did it all. And literally a few weeks later, the check was for $100,000. And 97,000 something came in on the day that the check was written. Completely unexpected. Like I was doing yoga classes for like 20 euros per head. Like it was a different world. And all of a sudden we had the money to finish the house off for our wedding, for a thing. And we were like, what just happened? And everybody was just like, what just happened to your life? And it just literally was like this switch of like, oh, you know what? All that inner work you've been doing, all that stuff, you're being rewarded now. Like it's like it's on now, and it's like turning on that flow, and it really just hasn't stopped since, to be honest. And that's the fun thing, and that was like, tell me, oh, how did you do that? So that's how we started into this journey. And the mad thing is like we're doing it, we do it all virtually now, which is amazing. But as you do it virtually, we've seen more people implement because we've created a community. And I think your question about what if your guy is resistant or whatever, we have this incredible community of women who've all done it. And like, they have this thing of like, just do what Patricia says. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. And like, my husband is dubious. Doesn't matter. Like there's 20 people saying, doesn't matter. Ignore, wait till they start seeing the results, so it's like, as opposed to like, I'm trying to do this Feng Shui thing and no one's backing me up. We've got like, no. We've got your back, and there's this community. And that means that people implement because they see all the other wins, everyone implements, and then you get results. So it's just like any work that we do or anything we commit to doing, unless you take action, do it, like actually implement, you don't get the results. And we saw that when we first started in person with people, they just didn't do it. It was so weird. It was like, here's the golden ticket.
Right.
They're like, no, right. I'll buy the ticket, but I'm not going to actually take action. Whereas this is what's happened, what we see now. It's been amazing.
Well, that's so interesting too, because of you would think the converse would be true, that in-person stuff would, because I'm like, I got to show up for, I got to have a yoga teacher. I can't do the virtual yoga with my mat in my home. I got to go and be with people. So that's interesting to me, that the other way around is like catapulting you guys.
Blow my mind. Like it just blow my mind. And I think it's just that essence of the support. And also, like for example, we had one lady who joined our program and her daughter was unemployed when she joined. She's like, really want to get her sorted with her career. And today she came in celebrating her daughter getting her new job, but London pay living, but remote. Wow. So she could live up north where it's much cheaper and get London wages. And she was like, oh my God, this is my thing. And then there's like 20 people going, yay. And, we just remember why they joined, because they tell us like, I joined because of this. And that one thing happened today is going to have a ripple for another 20 people going, oh, I haven't finished that. I haven't finished this. It's been phenomenal to watch, like really has.
Oh, it sounds like a lot of fun too.
That's it. Yeah, it is.
Having a group that is your cheerleader to get it accomplished.
Yeah.
So this has been so fun. I've learned a lot just talking to you today, Patricia. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for the work that you are doing, because the energy, shifting energy, everybody, is so important, whether it's within yourself, within your home, within your relationship, because as we shift and change, and like Patricia said, be the change you want to see, right? As we shift and change, the vibration, again, as Patricia said, ripples out, and then it becomes contagious, right? Not in a bad way, not in a COVID way, but contagious in a healthy way that supports you, and you are then supporting everyone else, because we're all connected. We're all one. So the website is Patricia Lohan, LOHAN.com. Check out what she does. I've been on your site. It's great. I love it. I've learned just in some of the free things you have there. I'm like, okay, I guess I better do that. And listen to her podcast too, you guys. Live Your Dream Awake. So, Patricia, thanks again for everything.
So much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and sending loads of love. And yeah, I'd love you to just get started. Remove 27 things.
I'm on it. So I'm just going to end today with, and so it is, namaste.